Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Kylie, and this is
Mrs. Verdugo. It's nice to be here.
She's our guest this week. Miss Verdugo, how do you feel being in a podcast
I
today?
feel like a famous person, honestly. This is like, you don't realize this, but this is like one of my dreams come true.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, that's so sweet.
I can say check marked, like, being in a podcast. I love it.
Yes. So what's something that made you want to start teaching? Like, and what do you teach? Why do you want to teach it?
Oh my gosh, those are all such good questions. So originally, my parents were teachers, and I wanted to be anything except a teacher because I saw how much they worked, and I thought, why would they have signed up to do this with their lives? Like, my mom teaches kinder, and my dad went back and forth between elementary and high school, and I just thought, wow, they come home so exhausted. What a life. And then I actually wanted to be a garbage truck driver.
Really? Wait, that's so funny.
Don't judge me. I just thought that looks simple. And I put that on like a questionnaire that somehow my mom got a hold of, and she was livid, which is so mean because, you know, it's a respectable job that people, you know, like it needs to be filled. And I was like, no, that just sounds very low stress. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I ended up gravitating towards side jobs that involved working with kids, like tutoring. And I did like a after school program where I taught kids how to like play soccer or paint, and it was so much fun. And I realized that those were the jobs that were bringing me the most
happiness.
Yeah, like just joy and fun. And then when I had other jobs, and there were a handful, like it was not as fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so cool. My brother actually wanted to be a garbage truck driver when he was younger.
I just liked the idea of the simplicity.
It fits you.
Okay, ouch.
No, it fits you because you teach apes.
Oh, I see.
And you're so like the garbage where we had to carry a
this
trash
goes in
bag.
recycling.
Okay, so for our first question, we have, what was a pivotal moment in your career and how did it change you?
I think the most dramatic like pivot, I thought it might run in my blood to teach like younger kids because my mom does it and she makes it look so easy, and I thought, how cute, you know, they love her and she gets all these gifts, and helping kids read at that level just felt like, okay, I can do that. So I did teach pre-kinder for a little while.
Really? It's funny because you hate kids.
Well, I don't hate kids.
You're like, I'm never going to have children.
Well, for the record, part of that reason, like, was that experience with pre-K.
Okay.
Where it's not that I was bad at it either. Like, they wanted to keep me on a lot longer. And they were like, Mrs. Verdugo, please don't leave. Like, the kids love you. And for me, it was just nothing convinced me more that I wanted to work with the complete opposite end of the age spectrum for public school than working with preschoolers, because I just thought I would come home just drained, and I didn't feel like I was being challenged in the ways that I wanted to be challenged. Mm-hmm. So that was probably like pivotal in my career, where it was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to be working with this end of K-12. I want to be working with upperclassmen. And then I applied
so
here.
Weird. I can't even like see you like teaching kindergartners just because like
there's a lot of, I mean, you're gonna laugh, but there's a lot of singing. There's a lot.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine you singing.
Like when you're teaching things, there's voices. There was nap time. Yeah,
you should give us nap time.
I've heard that one before. When we do the sleep unit, everyone's like, "Can we sleep?" I'm like, you learn nothing from that, actually.
And the second question that we have is, what made you start coaching for track?
Ooh, so I did track in high school. And I always thought, so I did track and I played soccer, and I always thought if I was going to coach, it would be one of those two things. And to be honest, I enjoyed soccer a little bit more than I did track. I know, scandalous.
Controversial.
Mr. Watson would hate that. But yeah, like I always thought I was going to end up coaching soccer. And then I think that's a testament to like how the people in your life end up like changing little directions. Mr. Lear and Mr. Watson and Mr. Prince at the time all convinced me to just like come out and coach, assist where I could on the track and field team. Mm-hmm. And then that just became what I was coaching, and I enjoyed it so much.
When did you like start coaching?
Oh my god!
Because you do long distance running, right?
Yeah, and then it's funny because I've coached on and off, and it's funny since Mr. Kinninger came on campus, I kind of feel like we've been doing this dance where like I'll coach and then he'll coach and then
really?
I'll coach.
You guys coach the same thing?
Yes. We actually, there's a lot of overlap with the parts of track that we both enjoy the most. So we like the mid distance, the long distance. I don't remember when I started. That's probably, it's going to age me. Let's call it 8 years ago, maybe.
Is that how long you've been teaching here?
Yeah, so literally
Really?
like, pretty close to when I started. I was like, oh, let's try this out.
That's cool. That's cool. So I showed you yesterday in class that people responded to our note on Instagram, or our question.
Yes, I was so flattered. And I was like, people want to ask me things?
It's the most questions we've gotten, actually. I don't even know if we'll be able to answer all of them. But, so Isabel asked, how does it feel being the most liked teacher on campus?
That's surreal to me because I feel like such a dork. I'm like, people like me? That's new. But yeah, it's obviously really flattering just that you guys as a group, as a demographic, don't just think of me as like, oh, this teacher who's making me learn about recycling.
Making me carry around a trash bag.
Exactly. Like, it's like, oh, she's actually a decent person and human being. That's it's so rewarding all by itself.
Oh, so and then someone asked, how's the transition from dog to puppy for your
Oh
dogs?
my gosh, that's a good question. That person clearly knows what I've been stressing about in my day-to-day. Everybody's like, the puppy's so cute. You're so lucky. I can't wait for this dog to grow.
Really?
To flip up. I want adult, dependable dog in my life. You know, the one that's been with you for years, knows how you do things, and the puppy's not that. The puppy is destructive and high energy. Like, I just want to chill, and the puppy doesn't want to just chill.
What made you want to get so many, like, animals? Because you have, like, birds.
The tortoise.
The tortoise.
That I don't know. I've always, if I wasn't teaching, I always thought I'd be doing something with animals. They just bring me joy. It's honestly kind of nice just to be able to come home and be in like a little zoo, essentially, of chaos.
It's so funny because you say you don't want kids and you'll never have kids, but then you have like a million pets that like require so much more.
Honestly,
at
yes.
times.
Like I'll hear some people talk about their kids. I'm like, that sounds better than how my morning went today. Like, I've literally had a bird fly overhead and poop in my cereal. I'm like, why is this my life?
Really?
Yeah, it's very
That's
rare.
so bad.
Because they normally know, like there's perches.
They were mad at you that day.
I don't know what it was. And of course, it's I think it was like the first day of school. This is years ago. And of course, I was like, of course. This one day. Like, wow.
Someone also asked, what's your favorite thing about SHS?
I think that we have like a little gem here in terms of like the students, which you don't know unless you've worked with in other communities, but there's just like you guys, like it's honestly you all, like you guys are just such a fun mix. Like the chemistry on this campus is so special. My husband, like, he's not a teacher, but he sometimes asks, like, well, we could just up and move wherever you want. And I know he's trying to, like, it's supposed to be motivating, but I don't think he understands, like, this is really hard to find, like, a school like SHS with the students like you guys are, just kind people, really grounded. And I'm not saying there aren't some people that test those limits every once in a while.
I was like, we're such a kind school, guys.
Well, don't get me wrong. There's a couple people that have to grow up and then they learn the hard way sometimes. But like for the most part, this is just such a wonderful like a gem.
Did you teach at any other schools?
Yeah.
Besides
So
SHS?
when I was in California, I subbed. I did after school programs at, I'm gonna say, 3 different school districts. Yeah, and then so that was really eye-opening for me, and there is a cultural difference sometimes at some school sites where you'll just realize very quickly, like, okay, wow, there are things that the students think they can get away with here that they wouldn't at say another school or another school district, if that makes sense. And you don't know it unless you're visiting. You're like leapfrogging.
Oh, Paywell says, tell her I miss her.
Oh, I miss her too.
Ariel, who graduated last year, she said, how has being a teacher affected your mental health, and what is one thing she wishes her students would realize?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Let's see. I do think that I was just having a conversation about this with another student. I do think every good teacher I know has thought about quitting, has had a melting point. I want to say year 1, year 2. So the thing that I've learned is, 1, get past that hump. Like 2 years is you need to find yourself, But you also need to take care of yourself. So like the mental health care, like on my end, is I have to learn when something I've done all I can for a situation, and then leave it. It just kind of sounds depressing, but like leave it at work and be like, all right, I'm gonna go and do something different now. Because so many teachers and they're bleeding hearts. They just like they fixate on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this.
Mm-hmm. They like bring their work life home.
They do, and it's not just the workload because there's that too. But like it'll be like a personality clash. Like I can't get this one student to care about my class, and it's hard.
Well,
yeah, and I tell them
just gotta let go.
You've talked to them. You've tried different ways of teaching it. Like you just exactly.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely like learned that as like a captain. It's like if you tell them once, there's nothing. It's up to them now.
Exactly. What is it?
Yeah.
Lead the horse to water. And
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that?
No.
The expression goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Oh.
Oh God, Kylie, that's an old saying.
I knew that I could never teach like in general. Like I just like hate kids.
So it's funny because I hear that a lot from the personalities that I think would make good teachers.
Really?
Yeah.
You think I'd be a good teacher?
Yeah, I think you would.
Oh my gosh, I would be a horrible teacher. I hate kids.
Sure.
Oh, and I just hate teenagers too. Like they're all just.
See, that's the beauty of it. Like I didn't like working with preschoolers so much, but like I found a niche where I'm like, oh, I'm really happy here. You just have to find your niche.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny because I feel nothing. Again, this podcast is the exception to the rule. Like I feel so loved right now. I feel so popular. But the other day that I feel very popular is graduation, where I'm getting friend requests from.
Oh my gosh, everyone follows you after graduation.
Graduates. Exactly. They're like, it is time. There's like 20 requests that weren't there that
That's so like, funny. Oh. I did that with my coach this past like month. She went to France for like an exchange year in college, and like it's my last year, so I'm not gonna see her. And like as soon as she left, like we all like followed her, and now we get to like see where she's at, like her all her posts,
like a rite of passage.
Well, that is all the questions I have for you today. Actually, I actually have one more.
Go for it.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh my gosh, that's so random. I was thinking teaching and education, inspiration, and suddenly ice cream. Let's think. I think I like chocolate chip cookie dough best.
I love cookie dough.
But I scoop out, the minute I scoop out all the little pieces of dough.
Oh, yeah.
It's just trash then. You know, like, once the cookie dough's gone, it's not the same.
You should get the vegan cookie dough from Costco. It's, like, it's good to eat, and it tastes like real cookie dough. I used to, like, eat, like, spoonfuls of it every night when I was, like, a freshman.
Okay, we got to talk about healthy habits.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's a really good recommendation. I'll definitely do that.
And it's healthy for you. I mean, it's not healthy for you. It's, like, it's healthier because they're not going to get salmonella.
It's healthier.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming to the podcast.
Of course. Thank you, Kylie.
And answering questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Do me a favor. Could you tell everybody thank you who put in questions for me?
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll tell them thank you.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Do I wave at the camera?
Yeah, we can say bye.
Bye.
Bye.